Well, fellas, I figured I'd get done here. It's not that late, about 10 o'clock. Still got a few more hours out here in the shop. Change it out. What the hell is this thing here? This is what is that thing? ABS sensor. Yeah, oh, they're rare too. It's kind of a pain to get to. So, mount some new tires and got to balance them now. But yeah, it's not that big a deal. Like I said, it'll be there a few more hours. Might drop the oil in it too. So, anyways, fellas, I heard from someone that hasn't been here for a while, and I won't go into details, but yeah, something bad happened, but it might have turned out to be something good in a way, you know. God works like that. It's funny, you know. We can be going okay, and all of a sudden, boom, something just sets us back, and that setback gives us time to regroup, reflect on some things. And some of us, that's what we need sometimes. We need to be able to reflect on things. Sometimes God says, you got too much going on, too much in your mind, too much garbled up. I need to calm you down a little bit. But thank God he's all right. And hopefully he'll be all right. And his loved one. So, if you're watching, my friends, glad you're still around. See, folks, there's a lot of things that go on in this world that it doesn't matter to you or me. It matters to some people, a lot of people. You know, they stand there and look at the stock market and go, "Oh my God!" You know, look, it's bounced back today some, but we're still at record highs. You know, I mean, could it go lower? Sure. I suspect it will someday. I suspect someday it'll go real low, and the pains are going to be there. But you got God on your side, and God will take care of you. He'll see you through it. You see, the biggest problem we have in this world is we have a bunch of demons running around just everywhere. And a lot of people, their vessel, they've they've given it over to do harm, to do disinformation and manipulation and lies and a whole bunch of other stuff. And the people that believe in God know He's the Creator, and that's the one you have to worship. You put Him on a shelf, and you worship Him, and you idolize Him, and you do His will. And the world's going to hate you for it because you're not of them. See, the world hated Him before they hated us. You know, we all know people that like to mix things with half truths. I mean, I look at it like it's different when you're joking around, kidding, and the guys or the gals get together and they say things and just funny stuff, and it's no harm, and it's not like anything can be misconstrued. You know what I'm saying? It's not like somebody's trying to pull the wool over your eyes to get take advantage of you or something. You know, just having fun and goofing off. That's one thing. But it's another thing when you're actually sitting out there and you're trying to take advantage of people. There's a lot of people out there that's how they take advantage of you. You know, they say this, they say that, got some truth mixed in with it, but it's not the total truth. Well, if it's not, then in a situation like that, they're being deceitful. I mean, you know what it's like. You know that fish that got away that was well this big, and now it's this big. You know, I mean, you know, guys razz each other about stuff like that. You know, there's no harm in that. I don't believe. You know, they're just goofing around and having fun. But we all have people in our inner circles and in our family and so on and so forth that are deceitful and manipulative. And people like that, see them for what they are. Don't be taken in by them. You know, there's a lot of people that are jealous of you. They'll give you bad advice because they're jealous and they want to see you fail. They'll give you every excuse why you can't do something. I'll put it this way. You know, if you like to sing and you're a terrible singer, so what? Sing anyways. Makes you happy. Didn't say you had to be good at it. As long as you're happy doing it. You know, there's a lot of things like that. You know, there's a lot of people, you know, they learn to paint or draw and they're terrible at it, but they enjoy doing it. Well, then do it. You never know. Someday you might get good at it. But meanwhile, you're having a good time doing it. You're enjoying yourself. You're not harming anyone. You know, you need to build your world around God and have that peace, have that security, knowing you're God's child and He loves you and He wants the best for you and He takes care of you. You know, that's all it really comes down to. You know, I mean, you work for a company that, and they're not the best people, but you know it, and they can't corrupt you. That's that's a good thing. It might cost you your job, but when God's smiling upon you, it doesn't matter what the hell they do. God closed that door and said, "Man, you know, you don't need to be around that." Now, I'm going to open up a door over here for you somewhere else. Right? The Lord works in mysterious ways. You know, it always says in the Bible, too, if somebody, you know, wants you to walk a mile, walk 2 miles. Somebody wants like a loaf of bread, give them a sandwich. You know, give them a full meal. Somebody wants $1, give them two. Give them 10. You know, that's what we're here for. We're here to be good stewards, good people. He said they'll know you by your works. did I just make this go out by doing that? I probably did. You know, today was the first like warm day we've had in a while since last year. It was up in like the 70s. I was outside and I'm like, man, it's hot. It's gonna storm and carry on. Well, right now it's 60 in the shop, which that's nice. I like 60. That's t-shirt weather. You know, 50. That's still t-shirt weather. Most people by the time it gets 40, they're putting the heavy coat on. I'm like, well, I might put a sweatshirt on. You know, but no, folks, I just figured I'd get on here and just be mindful of the people that you associate with. They cause strife in your life. That could be family. And you know how hard that is when it's your own family doing it to you. Amplify that by I don't know what. But that's how God feels when we go astray. It breaks his heart. Now be mindful of what you say and what you do. Before you go, if somebody says something that offends you, just before you go flying off the handle or something, just stop and go, what will it gain me if I lower myself to that level? I mean, really, what am I going to get out of it? Nothing. Will you feel better? Maybe for a little bit. Then all of a sudden you'll be like, the guilt starts hitting you because you're like, man, God doesn't want me to act like that. And I'm doing exactly what he doesn't want me to do. It's still going a little bit. So, folks, we're going to get out more and more here. The weather's breaking, and just be mindful. We don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. I mean, for all we know, somebody's loading some nukes up right now in some stupid thing and getting ready to fire them off at somebody. We don't know. For all we know, there's an asteroid that's been hidden behind the moon and now it's coming right at us. We don't know. Maybe one of these super volcanoes is getting ready to just unleash. We don't know. But if you do what's right and keep your heart with God, let God protect your heart, you'll always be ready. I'm sure the person I was speaking of earlier probably been thinking about that too. It's like, could have been a lot worse. What would have happened if myself or my loved one would have died? I mean, you stop and you think about those things and you go, man, is this a wake up call? Is God telling me? God giving me a reminder? Well, hopefully you don't need a reminder. Hopefully you can get it together. It ain't easy. There's temptations, self gratification. Everybody wants to be me, me, me first. It says, who'll be Who's first will be last, and who's last will be first. I've always gone to like weddings and funerals, stuff like that, and they usually have a big, spread and this and that, and everybody, man, it's the thing opens, it just run up to that line, and boy, they got to get up there right now. Hell, there's people starting on their seconds, and I haven't even been up yet. I just sit and wait. I'd rather go up there when there's hardly a crowd or no crowd at all. If they're out of things, so be it. If I'm still hungry when I leave, I'll go someplace and get something to eat. But don't let it bother me. And people cause themselves a lot of stress too by boy, I've been wanting to get one of those I don't know, UTVs, side by sides, whatever they are. So a lot of people, boy, it's just got to get one. And they're expensive. They get it, and they're making payments on that thing like a truck. Besides the truck they got, they're making payments on, and that's causing them a lot of stress now. Wouldn't it be easier just to say, don't really need one? Or find a buddy who's got one. Ride around with him. Buy him a few beers, maybe a sandwich or two, and maybe put a little fuel in it for him. He'll probably want you to come back again sometime and ride around again. Just don't take advantage of someone's good nature. Got to be a good host, and a good neighbor. I got a neighbor, down the road quite a ways. Come down, borrow my chainsaw. Used it and all this and that. I put a chain on it before he took it. He brings that thing back. It was so clean, I thought it was new. I didn't know it was mine. I mean, I usually just wipe it off, just like with a brush, just wipe it off. Get most of the stuff off of it. Oh, this thing was, it looked new. He cleaned that baby. And that's the thing. If you ever want to borrow it again, I'd have no problem at all letting him borrow it. And then there's things I've loaned out before that they don't know what happened to it. It's like, well, I did that with the aluminum brake. I was like, I need to borrow it. I said, no problem. Just remember where you got it. Oh, about 10 months later, I call him up. Oh, he don't remember nothing about it. All right. I bought a new one and I ain't loaning it out. Somebody wants to use it, well, they can come over and get to have their measurements and use it, but they're not taking it. But yeah, just be mindful of things like that. Mindful of the people that you. But you don't want to be critical of people too. You don't want to nitpick at them and I don't like this or I don't like that, because I'm sure there's things that you do that they don't like or other people don't like. The biggest thing is you don't want to be around somebody that's like truly ungodly. I remember we were out fishing once. Old guy, he was on the launch. He sat down, but he sat down on the end of the bench, not the leg was over further. He sat down on the end. Bench goes up, he falls. Well, of course, man, I get up and I go over and help him up, get him all situated in, get his rod and everything. And then there was a couple guys laughing, thinking that was funny. Like, what the hell's wrong with you? Why don't you go over and give him a hand? You know? I mean, what would that have been your dad or your grandfather? You'd sure the hell hope somebody'd pick him up and dust him off and help him. Not laugh and think it's funny. Gotta, you gotta sort things through your life. God gave you filters. And some of us, we get hardened. We, we've been there. We've been down in the trenches. You know, we've had to fight and this and that. And then your heart gets hardened. And then you stand back and you got to evaluate it yourself. Not everyone else, but yourself. And you gotta do a lot of soul searching and find out, what's important. Well, first and foremost, God's important. He's the reason we're here. And it's hard to do your soul searching and try to get back to what you used to be when you were younger, before before life hit you. Because this world, oh, you go out and you take it. You get out there and you make it happen. You go out and really look at the world today. Look at the problems we're having in just the financial system. Look at the morality of this country, the wokeness and giving people special rights and the whole 9 yards. I mean, we're all individuals. Just because something is different doesn't mean you should have special rights because you're different. Look around. This is what the biggest problem and the biggest lie there is out there. They think they think they're doing something good, but the road to hell is paved with good intentions. And that's one of the big things. That's one of the lies. Well, you're not against that, are you? You're not against this, are you? Well, they mix half truths, try to confuse you. When they were doing sacrifices, I mean, animals and stuff, altars to God. He always picked out the best of whatever God wanted you to sacrifice. The best lamb, the best goat. I mean, the best everything, blemish free. I mean, just perfect. Most people would look around and go, "Man, I'm not giving my prize bull." Well, that's what God wants. You give it to God. More than likely, He's going to give you 10 prize bulls because you were righteous and honest and forthcoming with Him. We're thinking of yourself. Put God first. A lot of people wonder why, man, I'm a good person. Why don't I have all this money? Why aren't I rich? Money will make you do funny things. Look at the world. Money will corrupt you. Power will corrupt you. A lot of things do that to you. And it just amplifies more and more. More power and the more money and the more corrupt. Until you don't even know who that person is when you look in the mirror. What's the man to gain the whole world if he loses his soul? I think you guys understand what I'm saying, what I'm getting at. Choose the people you want to be around. Choose them wisely. You know, if the government's morally corrupt, and they are, and they want you to do this, this, and this, it's like, well, I'm not partaking in that. They'll come after you, but God's got your back. So, folks, just remember that. And you don't go around life wishing people bad. I can't really think of anyone that I wish anything bad on. There are a few people I wish would come around and understand and see the light, but yeah, they're self-made, you know. You know, people often wonder why God created evil. You know, the angels and all, the fallen angels and this and that stuff. Well, there's no evil in the world. Why would you need God? Why would you worship God if there was no evil? There'd be no reason to. See, it was like the Garden of Eden. Man, they had it. They had everything. They had it made. Then that smooth talker, Satan, came in and got Eve to take a bite from that apple. And it was downhill from there ever since. And it keeps getting worse. And as technology evolves, and it does, the minute AI hits, and I mean they've got servers. I mean they could do more transactions than there are people in the world in seconds, fractions of seconds. That's when literally hell on earth will break loose. Total control system comes in. You talk like I'm talking, I'll shut you off. Then they'll send the stormtroopers out to kill you. Well, I got mixed feelings on that. Do I just stand by and let them kill me? Or do I do like God says when the strong man knew his house was going to be broke into? It wasn't. God sent David out and killed a lot of people. David slayed Goliath. You've heard me talk about this stuff before. There's the whole Bible's full of a lot of things like that. But it's also full of things that where God intervened. Moses parted the sea. People went through. The chariots are like, man, we're going to get them, and God just drowned them. Sodom and Gomorrah, same thing. People walked out. Boom. She turned around. She turned to a pillar of salt. Said, "I told you not to. It was your choice." See, so there's a lot of things in the Bible that go both ways. Like I said before, he told his disciples, if you didn't have a sword, sell your tunic and buy one. I'm not going to be here to protect you like I am now. See, there's a lot of soul searching to do there. I suppose when that time comes, God'll intervene, and you'll know. Something to just calmness will come over you, and you'll just like, okay. Or maybe something will just come over you and you just do it. And it's like you didn't even think about it, you did it. And you came up victorious, like David. You don't know. God, at the very split second, the very last fraction of a second, blink of an eye, whatever, He could end whatever's coming at you, whatever's going to harm you. It's over. That's why you always give it to God. He'll take care of you. I remember years ago, my grandfather was mowing. We had a real old fence row mower, and the blade was open. Just had a pulley that went down to in a guard around that. And he got too close to a to like a ditch, ravine, whatever. And he slid because it was kind of muddy. And he slid and he was trying to push this thing up. And it was coming back at him. And I didn't even think about it. And I grabbed that guard and I pulled it up. I felt the blades running, the wind just sailing by my fingers. Just and I wasn't even scratched. I didn't even think about doing it, you say. I just did it. All I can figure, that's God's intervention. Any other time, man, I've been missing all those fingers. But I didn't even get a scratch. Been a lot of things like that in my life. Interesting how things work, isn't it? And you know it's God. There's no doubt in my mind it was God. There's no doubt in my mind God's there. He's watching over us. No doubt at all. Good folks, I hope, you know, if you go back and think of some of the things that's happened in your life, I guarantee you've had some things like that happen. And you know it was God intervening. You know it was. I remember I don't know, 10, 11. I was just a little kid. Evil Knievel, man, he's big shit, man. It's like, oh man, Evil Knievel. Well, you probably pretty much know where I'm going. So we built a ramp. This ramp was just like straight up. Well, of course, knucklehead here has to be the first one to do it. It's gonna be cool. And I'm pedaling like a man. I'm pedaling as fast as I can go, and I hit this thing, and I go straight up, and I come straight down on the asphalt, hitting my head first thing, bam, and I mean everything was just, when you hit your head so hard, something everything just rattles. It just every just and just ears boom, and there the whole 9 yards. And the funny thing is this: for a split second, I saw myself laying on the ground with that bicycle on top of me. I felt no pain, nothing. I was fine. And next thing I know, I'm getting up off the ground, getting the bike off me, ears ringing. So, yeah, we all learn things and have things happen in our lives. From a young age, I knew there's God. I knew no one had to tell me. So, folks, evaluate your life. Look around and see the people you're hanging around with. Pray to God over it. Some people you're just better off just. And of course, when you do that, you'll be a terrible person. But that's okay. So you all take care and you have a good day. And with God on your side and God with you, everything's good. Even when things are bad, even when things are bad, you pray to God. He comes and He just got a peace and calmness comes over you. Sometimes you think, man, I'm in big trouble. And you're thinking of all these, oh, they're going to do this, they're going to do that to me. They're going to do all these bad things to me. Nothing happens. Nothing. And none of those scenarios played out in your head. None of them. That's God intervening. Well, y'all take care.